What's up everyone, it's another day of geography songs on TV Talks with Tom, and today we're heading down to Brazil, more specifically Rio. At the Veto, when the players are picked, Tyler's always chosen. Twitter gets outspoken, then he wins the comp, and the house is thrown into a bonanza. Memphis can't stand her, then Memphis crumbles under pressure, cause he hates when he's not in control with leisure. It's the viewer's pleasure. But did Tyler use the veto? That is what you guys are about to find out. We've got so much to talk about today, guys, including the veto ceremony and what is likely going to happen for the rest of the week. So welcome to your live feed update. So welcome guys, come on in, we've got some updates to talk about, and that was a little parody of I Go to Rio by Peter Allen. I'm pretty sure it's way back from the 70s, somewhere way back when, guys, but I'm an old school music guy myself, and I like the old school bangers, and that is certainly one of them, guys, so I hope you all enjoyed that parody. But without further ado, we're going to jump into some BB updates, straight away talking about what happened at the veto ceremony. I must say as well, guys, let me know if there's any Office fans in the house, because I'm wearing my Dunder Mifflin jumper here, guys, my pullover. It's a fantastic show, and as I talk about TV, guys, I had to mention that just for a second, even though this is a Big Brother update. But let's talk about the veto ceremony. Tyler decided not to use the power of veto, so Davon and Kevin remain nominated, and we're going to talk about all the fallout from that and all the strategy talk since. Davon has pretty much realised that she is likely going to be the person heading out the door this week. She had a conversation with Dani and Kevin straight after the veto ceremony, discussing about boot order essentially, and she's saying she's going to be gone this week, and as soon as the double eviction comes along, Kevin will be heading out the door first, closely followed by Dani. And she totally ruled out the fact that David would be the next person to go. At the fact she just said Dani is pretty much gone below the rankings of David now in the power, and David is more valued by the other side than Dani. We saw yesterday Cody, Enzo and a few of the others pretty much turning on Dani. Not fully, it's sort of like it's a loose end right now, and they need to tighten the knot if they want to keep her on, but it's a very loose knot right now, and they'd happily let her go very, very quickly, because they believe Dani's doing too much. She's working in too many places, she's going to every single corner of the house and trying to better her game over the committee's game essentially. So Dani's losing a lot of alliances, friendships, everything like that, and it's definitely going to come bite her, and we have been saying this since the early weeks. Dani's doing too much, and it's eventually going to come round together, and she's going to get picked off, and I think it's looking very, very likely now. So Dani has put herself into this position. If she had saved Ian last week, or pushed for Ian to be saved last week, she'd possibly be in a better position, because now she's found herself at the bottom of the committee. Davon has said that she will not be campaigning to Cody, Enzo and Tyler for the simple reason of she doesn't like the fact that when Keisha, Kevin, Janelle and Kesa made their campaigns to them, they pretty much took the mickey out of them. They mocked them and pretty much just made fun of them for doing it. Just to clarify there, guys, I don't know if took the mickey is a phrase in the US. We say it in the UK. Taking the mickey is basically making fun of something or making a laugh out of something, but that's just to clarify there, guys. It may just be a phrase, but just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, she's obviously very concerned about them taking the mickey out of her campaigns, and they said it wasn't fair what they did last week when Ian was campaigning, and she thought it was totally unacceptable, the fact that Ian was mocked whilst he was campaigning. Davon heard some movement upstairs, and she was asking who it was when they were coming down the stairs, and Dani referred to it. It's either Mr. or Mrs. Claus, referring to Christmas and Memphis. So obviously them two are definitely getting this huge target on their back now, as these two people who sort of sit and scheme by themselves and do their own thing, and it's definitely they need to watch out, as I say, you know, with the committee crumbling quick and fast. They are going to find themselves a target very, very fast. We've got Dani as a target on one side, and then Christmas and Memphis obviously stand out two that are definitely going to be targeted soon. Or should we call them Mr. and Mrs. Claus? Nicole has been lying through her teeth all week that she voted to keep Ian in the house to Davon, and after this conversation that just transpired with them, Davon left the room. Nicole looked at the camera and she basically said that it's really killing her, the fact that she hasn't told Davon the truth, but she said she will find the time to do so. But for me, I don't know if that really works, because I guess she's going to find out either way, so I guess the better way is to sit her down and tell her. But I feel like, is it too little too late for Nicole to get Davon's jury vote should Nicole make it to the end? We don't know just yet. It depends who sits next to Nicole at the end, but I don't think Davon's going to value someone who's lied straight up to her for a whole week as someone who she wants to reward with $500,000. David told Kevin that the veto situation was very telling at the fact that Davon nor Kevin actually picked David to play in the veto comp. Davon and Kevin have pretty much lost all trust in David this week, and David's pretty much just ostracised from both sides of the house now. He is sort of totally being misconstrued. They believe that he flipped on them with the vote for Ian, and he's been left out the loop. And the sort of it's very sad, really, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, it's a real shame that the three of those guys haven't been able to get their heads together and realise they need to work together, otherwise they're going to get picked off. But as I say, guys, it seems to be too little too late. And, maybe David can scramble a little bit. It really depends if he can plant a few seeds on the behalf of trying to get Dani out. Maybe he can bargain himself a few weeks, and with those weeks make some more connections and plant some more seeds to take out more of the committee. Because essentially, David's probably going to be the last person that is going to be there to be thrown up on the block. If we throw it back to BB19, if we think of Kevin from BB19, he was always there to be thrown up on the block, but he somehow made it all the way to Final Four with Christmas, Josh and Paul, and I think David may just be that person, whilst Cody and maybe the inner core of Enzo and Tyler maybe just pick off the rest and keep David around and then get rid of David at Final Four. We just don't know yet, but it's definitely a few scenarios that we can throw around in our head, and that is definitely one of the possibilities. Christmas and Memphis were talking, and Christmas asked Memphis that who would they want David to nominate should David win HOH, and I was thinking for a start, whoa, calm down, traffic lights, red light, stop. Christmas and Memphis have been actively trying to get David out, so they haven't really got much influence on what David's going to do. I think obviously there was that sort of shady deal made with Memphis this week, but obviously Memphis was trying to backdoor David, so that's thinking way too much, thinking how they're going to get him to put the people they want on the block. But Memphis said he doesn't feel comfortable telling David names, and rightfully so, because it's almost going up to your essential arch rival in the house and telling them you are going to nominate this person. It doesn't work like that. David is going to have this individualistic sort of approach to his HOH, and I'd like to think he would make some big moves and not do what the majority of the house wants. I think he will. Over the past few weeks, he seems to have got his head in the game a lot more, and he is pretty much like sort of the Lone Ranger now. He's pretty much by himself because, as I said earlier, he's ostracised from both sides of the house. So I'd like to think he's going to do some damage should he win HOH and maybe flip things up a little bit. But we'll have to see actually if he can win HOH first to see if he can do it. Christmas and David were talking game at the end of the night, with Christmas extending David an olive branch, saying that they should work together in order to help themselves get to the final 8. Doesn't sound like a great deal to me. It pretty much sounds like, let's get rid of Davon, then let's get rid of Kevin, then David, off you pop, go to the jury house. That's what it sounds like. So we'll see how that one transpires, but a lot of game can happen in a couple of weeks, and relationships can shift, which actually might help them both make it further in the game. But they talked quite a lot for a while, and Christmas made a deal with David, saying that if he wins HOH over the next 2 weeks, I'll pitch it out here, guys. Okay, so imagine if David wins HOH for the next 2 weeks. Christmas said that she will set the record straight about the vote last week exposing Nicole in the goodbye messages should David not nominate her should he win HOH. So I guess it's a valid deal, but I guess David could have bargained for a couple more weeks because finally it doesn't sound great. It sounds like I'll keep you safe for 2 weeks and then you can go to the jury house, sayonara. But yeah, we'll see how that one works out. I guess Nicole is definitely going to get a lot of heat from the next couple of jurors as secrets are exposed, and she's going to find herself digging out of a hole there and potentially being a target maybe next week, the week after, or even the week after that. Kevin asked Davon what would her strategy be should she... I can get there eventually, guys. What would her strategy be should she stay in the house this week? And she said that she would nominate Cody next to Tyler. And then Kevin brought up the idea of Cody next to Memphis, but they said they've got to be careful because Davon said that Tyler would use the veto on Cody, and then who would you put up against that? And a lot of scenarios were thrown around, but they said that if Cody and Tyler were on the block and one of them won the veto, they said they put Enzo up. So it's definitely targeting that core really, and just making some damage on the game. Will Kevin or Davon win HOH next week? It will be monumental if they do. It will be a definite shift of the tides if they do, and pretty much same goes for David, to be honest, as well. And it would shift the season up more than it's been shifted up before this season, pretty much. So it'll be exciting to see something change up. But we may just see the continuity of the committee winning back-to-back HOHs and picking off Kevin and David next, should Davon be the person to go. But guys, to clarify right now, it definitely looks like Davon is heading out the door this week, with Nicole definitely getting exposed in goodbye messages. So I mean, there's two things to think about really this week. I mean, Davon's game's obviously tanked when she goes to the jury, and Nicole's game is pretty much going to be tanked within the house from the goodbye messages, guys. That is all of your game updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching this video. I massively appreciate everyone who comes by every single day. New viewers, returning viewers, I just massively appreciate you all. It means the world to me. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let me know your thoughts. Who would you like to see safe this week? Who would you like to see survive another week and even win HOH on Thursday night, guys? But again, thank you so much for everyone watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until your next live feed update, guys, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.